Well, we went into Belief after doing our first record, which was, you know, heavy, loud, fast, angry, you know, because we were angry young men. And, you know, there was starting to be more and more electronic bands kind of in that vein appearing. And, you know, we could see the inevitable progression where everyone wanted to get heavier, louder and angrier, and we were like, we don't want to do that. We want to see if we can keep the tension and the kind of things that are in there, but do it in perhaps less obvious ways and more subtle ways. And you know, as much as sort of heavier music had been a big influence on us, so had, you know, like James Brown and just like funk and soul music. And we wanted to see if we could mix that aggression, you know, the aggression and the darkness that we had with I guess, just a funkier sound. So rather than the snare drums getting ever more gated and ever larger, you know, we sort of were attracted to sort of piccolo snare sounds and just anything that was kind of in the opposite direction to what we had been going, but keeping the same intent behind it. We definitely wanted to keep it super minimal. At that time we were very not really anti-guitar, but the way 95% of bands that we knew employed the guitar, it was just so obvious and so overdone. So we sort of made that a rule that there would be no guitars on it. And another thing that we did that I think really contributes to the sound of it is nothing other than the vocals was recorded on tape at the time of the mix. Everything was run virtual, so we had 2 Oberheim expanders, 2 Akai S900 samplers, and then whatever auxiliary synths we were using around those. And they were, you know, and that's why we had 2 of everything, because they were limited in terms of polyphony and everything at the time. So in order to accommodate all the sounds we had, you know, the synths were plugged straight into the SSL, and that went straight down to 2-track, which is why it's very clean as well as a recording, because nothing was played back off the tape. So, you know, and then there was also, that was an education for me, because that was the first real record that we'd done top to bottom with a producer, which was Flood. That's the first one that he came in on. And watching him turn fairly usual sounds, especially drum sounds. I mean, people often ask us about the drum sounds on our early records, and they weren't really anything that special. But how Flood manipulated those, EQ'd them, compressed them, and generally mixed them. You know, I saw that like the mixing board as a weapon, virtually. That was an education, you know, where he had the ability to change any sound into something a lot more serious and hard hitting. And you know, just a good overview in how to work with what you have, but just keep sculpting it and refining it until you've got something that sounds good.